a discussion about PBFT, which stands for Practical Byzantine Fault Tolerance. So we'll go into the details in this lecture. So we said that you have a client and it can communicate to the various servers. And of course the term that they use in their paper is replicas. Right? Replicas 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. So the first phase, the client sends the request to the different replicas. Okay, so what does it do? So first of all, the client creates a message which looks like this. And remember that everything has to be signed in PBFT using the secret key that everyone has. And of course, everyone knows everybody else's public key. So this has to be done because somebody could be malicious. So just because he says that he is some particular node or the client or so on, he may not be. So of course the message says that this is a request, this is the type of message. And then there is the operation, which I am just going to write as O. So whatever the operation is, it may be setting a particular value of a variable or incrementing it, whatever. Then you have the timestamp. And then this is the client's name. Let's say the client's name or ID. Right, and this message has to be signed by the client. So the way they write that in the paper is like this, sigma C. So this means that it has been signed by C. So C is the client, and people can identify the client from this, and they can look up the public key of the client and make sure that the signature corresponds to that particular client. Okay. So just a few rules about this. So the timestamp for the requests are totally ordered. So the timestamp T for C's requests are totally ordered. Okay, so basically if for some reason the client, maybe the request doesn't get through or something like that, and it sends another request, it would have to increment this timestamp, right? So you cannot replay the same request. Okay. So essentially the client, every time it has a new request to send, it will increment this timestamp, right? So That's just a detail. And what do we want finally? Okay, so let's skip over. So we've talked about phase 0 where the client talks to the replicas. And finally, what are we going to have? In phase 4, so eventually, after consensus, the client is going to hear back from these replicas. So they are going to reply to the client after they've achieved consensus. And so these are the replicas. So the replicas send the following to the client. Reply, that is the type of the message. It gives V, which is the view number. So recall that view is the same as term in Raft. So this is the view number. T, which is the request timestamp. C, the client who gave that request. Right, and then there is I. So I should say replica I sends this. So this is the replica number. And then it sends R. So R is just whatever the result is of executing the request. After executing the request. Okay, so that's all that is there in the reply, and it has to be signed, but now it is signed by the replica I. So it is signed by I. Okay, so this is what we finally want. Okay, so phase 0 is when the client sends the request to all of them, and if everything goes fine, in phase 4 we will see that all these replies have to come from the different replicas, and they execute this particular request, the operation that was there in the request, and whatever reply is there, whatever result is there, they reply. They send it back as part of the reply message, and they send some extra information also. Okay, so this T will identify which particular request was sent, because we said that it's totally ordered based on the timestamp. So the client knows which request this particular reply is for, right? And of course the client itself is identified and the node is identified. So how many replies should the client get? Suppose it gets a reply from one node, is that enough? Can it be sure that the correct response has been received, and that the system has actually executed that particular request which it asked for, right? So it said I want you to execute O over here, this operation. And how do we know that R is the correct response? Right? So it should be as if there is a single machine running which is doing things correctly. And the question is, has it done correctly? If you hear back from a single node. So clearly a single node is not enough, because it could be a Byzantine node, and the Byzantine node could put any junk over here, right? And this may not be the right result at all. So how many replies does the client have to wait for? And as you might guess, the client has to wait for enough nodes so that it shows that at least one of the replies is coming from an honest node. So client waits till f plus 1 replies come in. So these replies should have the same timestamp, so that they correspond to the same request, and they should have the same result. Okay. So if the client gets this many replies, then we are in business, because we know that all of these cannot be Byzantine. F is the maximum number of Byzantine nodes. Okay, and so that means an honest node is saying that consensus has been reached by everybody, by the honest nodes in the system, and R is the response for it, right? Okay, so yes, because this, okay, so I just write that down. So at least one honest node is there among these f plus 1, right? So you might think, oh, what if the rest of them are Byzantine, right? So suppose it got f plus 1 replies, one of them was honest and the rest were Byzantine, and maybe the others are still doing something, they're trying to achieve consensus or whatever, right? Or the messages are delayed in a certain way. How can we be sure that this is the correct answer? Well, the reason is that an honest person is going to reply only if he is convinced that consensus has properly taken place. Okay, and the protocol is designed for safety. So that means if an honest person replies, it means that we are guaranteed that the execution has taken place correctly. Okay, that nothing can go wrong. Okay. So this is sort of the first and the last steps, where client sends the request, and phase 4 is when the replicas send the reply back to the client. So the tricky thing is, what do we do in between? How do we achieve consensus? Because so many different things can happen, right? The leader might be malicious, he may say something wrong or different things to different people, right? Or somebody may fail, a leader may fail, a node may fail, and so on, right? So how do we deal with all those cases? Okay, so let's talk about the next phase, which is called pre-prepare phase. So some particular node has been elected as the primary. So this is the leader. So the leader is going to propose a sequence number. There is a sequence number, there is a view, and of course there is a message. we can just say request since we use that particular term. And so let's say that we're giving sequence number n to request m, and the current view is v. Okay, so v is the term, and I mean initially it is 1, let's say, when the first leader is elected. But if that leader fails due to some reason or behaves maliciously, the leader can be thrown out. Okay, so they can have, somebody can say, let's have an election for a new leader, and then they elect a new leader, right? So anyway, let's for the time being assume that we are in view V, and now this primary wants to assign sequence number n to m. Okay, so the primary has in its own log, just like we had for raft. Okay, there is 1, 2, 3 and so on, and maybe the view was 1, maybe it increased to 2, right? And right now we are in view V in the various requests, and it wants to put m here with sequence number n. Okay, and the idea is that everybody should have the same n for the same m. Okay, finally. Okay, and if that happens, then we know that consensus has taken place. Okay. So, of course, by everyone I mean all honest nodes, right? Because malicious nodes can do anything that they want. Okay, so what happens in phase 1? So the primary sends out a message which sends to all other replicas a message which looks like this. So type of the message is pre-prepare. And it says the view is now V, and I am giving sequence number n, and it has to give the message, but remember that the client has already sent the message to everybody, right? That is what is assumed. So it doesn't have to send the full message, it just sends the hash of the message. Okay, in the paper they call this a digest, so let's say this is just a hash, and it has to be signed by whoever is the primary. So signature of the primary node. Okay. So this is a good start, and the question is, what if something goes wrong? We have to figure out how we are going to achieve consensus here, right? Because various nodes might lie about what they have heard, and the primary may itself be malicious, right? It could give for the same n, it could give different m's and send it to different other replicas. So an honest node is supposed to do this. An honest node is going to, let's say, I'll just say does the following. So if everything has been going on fine till now, and this is the first time the primary is assigning something to the sequence number n, then it should be willing to accept it. There's no reason to not accept. But if it has already heard a particular message corresponding to the sequence number from the same primary in the same view, and now that primary is trying to do mischief by sending another request m, or maybe some m dash corresponding to the same n, then it should not accept that. Right? So the if any honest node receiving this message accepts this particular request, accepts this pre-prepare, if it is in view V, and it has not accepted another pre-prepare, for the same sequence number in the same view. For the same, let's say, NV tuple. So if it has already accepted some m dash corresponding to n and v, that means that the same particular primary has sent another message earlier corresponding to n. So now that particular primary is misbehaving. It has sent a second message corresponding to the same n, and that is not allowed. But let's assume that everything has gone fine and this particular primary has sent only this single message corresponding to n in the view v. And then what happens? So let's go on to phase 2. Sorry, this would be phase 2, which is called prepare. So this is a phase where there is going to be a lot of gossiping. So we said that if you have this is the timeline for various replicas. So this is where they gossip about what they have heard. Right? So each of them is sending messages to the others. And let's say that this is the primary. So the primary has already sent them messages, right? So it doesn't have to say anything in this prepare phase. Right? Okay, so now they are gossiping. Okay, so they gossip about what the primary told them. Let's say what pre-prepare. Let's say what pre-prepares they have accepted. So how do they do that? So each replica sends the following. Sends to the others. Okay, of course, the primary two could send the same information it sent to all of them again, right? That's not a problem, but that's just redundant. But we can say that each replica sends to the others a message of like this. It sends the prepare and so this is the type of the message. it has the view number, the sequence number, summary of the message, which is the hash, and the replica number. So I is the sender replica, and of course it has to be signed by I. And this has a particular meaning. If it sends this, it means that I am willing to accept M corresponding to N, sequence number N in view V. This means node I is willing to accept NVM, okay, in its log. It's willing to accept this particular message corresponding to sequence number N and V. So when a node sends a prepare like this, saying that I am willing to accept this particular message M for sequence number N in view V, right? What exactly does it mean practically? So it means, can it change its what it says? So can it also put another M over here? Suppose, let's say that the primary sends out an M dash. Can it send something like NVM dash? So can the replica I say that I am willing to accept this? And the answer is no. So this means, I'll just write it this way. This means I will not, so if it is an honest node, right, according to the rules, it will not send a prepare for same sequence number in the same view but for a different message. Okay, so where M dash is not equal to M. So this is a promise that a node is making, okay, assuming that it is honest, that I will not send another prepare which contradicts this one. So I will not have another prepare saying that for the same sequence number in the same view, I am willing to accept another. Okay. So we have to be very careful about what we are saying. So I am not saying that this particular node will finally not agree to consensus for another M for M. Okay, so it's a very tricky thing. There are these three numbers which are sort of changing. You can think of the M as, you can think of putting a hash here for the message, right? And we want finally N to be locked onto M for everybody, and that's when we achieve consensus. So right now, this particular node is saying, I will not send a message of the type NVM dash for another M. Okay. So it's possible that for another V and the same N, he may send another N. Okay, it's a little bit tricky. So let's just think what this means. So the meaning of the prepare. Okay, so let's think about it. So can I send the following? Can it send a prepare for NV? Okay, there's something going on here. NV M dash. So it has already sent a prepare for NVM. This has already been sent out. So if it is an honest replica, so this is a question mark I'm putting. This is already sent. This has already been sent. Can it send these? Okay, can it send a prepare of this type? Okay, so once I send a prepare which is of this kind, which has this tuple, this I am not allowed to send. This is what I am saying I am not going to send again. But in a future, suppose there is no consensus, maybe I was the only one who got this particular message from the leader, and everything failed after that. So why shouldn't I vote for another M for the same N in a new view? So suppose the leader has changed, this leader got kicked out or the leader failed or something like that. In a new view, I can vote for another M. So this is allowed. Okay. Provided, of course, other things have not happened, provided you haven't already reached consensus for N. Okay. So I would say this is not prohibited, maybe that is the best thing to say. So this is not prohibited. I should say not banned, right? After sending this particular prepare. Okay. So it's not a violation of rules by default. So if this particular node, if node I sends NVM dash, then it is behaving in a Byzantine manner. Okay, but this is not completely prohibited. Okay, there may be other things that happen later on, or other commitments that this particular node I has made, which may prohibit such a message later on. Right? But at least this one doesn't directly prohibit it. Okay, so can it send a prepare of this kind? And I would say maybe it's definitely not prohibited just because it sent this first prepare. Okay, so fine. So one node has made some progress. It's committed to a particular message M corresponding to the sequence number N which it got from the primary. Okay. But it doesn't know what have others done, right? So in this prepare phase, they are gossiping to each other. So the node is able to receive prepares from other nodes. So let's talk about what happens if it gets a quorum of prepares. So it's called a P certificate. So if a node, a replica, let's say this here's 2F other prepares for the same NV, for let's say M, this is N, for N, V and M. Okay. So it itself has voted for this, it has sent out a prepare, which it sent out itself. Then it is part of a quorum. Okay, and in this particular case we say that it has a P certificate, 2F, or I should say, or more. Okay, so as soon as it is heard from 2F other nodes saying that we are also prepared to accept this particular combination of NVM, then it's got a quorum because it itself has voted for that particular tuple and it has heard that. Okay? So we say that the replica has got a P certificate. Okay, so this is good, and if you recall from the previous lecture, if we get a quorum for something, we know that we cannot get a quorum which contradicts it, because then you would have to have an honest node which is contradicting itself, right? Because from the intersection property of quorums, two quorums at least have one honest node which is common to them. Okay? So we have already said that the meaning of a prepare is that I will not vote for something like this. Okay, so if I hear a quorum of people who have voted for NVM, then I know that there cannot be another quorum for NVM, because then there would have to be an honest node who is, there cannot be a quorum for NVM dash, because then you would have had to have an honest node who is voting for M dash and M with the same NV, and we know that is not going to happen. Okay, so what does this imply? That there will not be another quorum for NVM dash. Okay, where M dash is not equal to M. So we are in business, so we are saying that for this particular combination of NV, we know that there cannot be another message which ends up there. Okay. But is this enough? I mean, is this enough for consensus? Have consensus been reached by everybody, by all the honest nodes? Have they all locked this particular N for this M? For this, sorry, we have locked N, V and M. Right? So the question is, can everybody, all honest nodes now, sort of reserve M for N and say that it's a done deal? Never is there going to be another M dash which matches with N. So let's think about it. So we are only saying this for a particular replica. So there is some replica I, let's say, has got a P certificate. But we don't know that everybody has got a P certificate. We don't know that all honest nodes have got a P certificate. Maybe they have not, right? Maybe some of the messages got lost, right? Or they are delayed somehow in the network. Okay, and maybe they have not yet at this particular point in time got a P certificate. Okay. So then what are we going to do? I mean, so now at least this particular node I knows that there cannot be an M dash over here, but is there a situation where an M dash can get linked to N, maybe in a different view? Okay, so maybe it's possible that let's say that this is time is going on, and let's say that we are in view V, over here V, and let's say that node I, so I'm using node and replica interchangeably, node I gets a P certificate for N, V and M here, but maybe others don't. Okay, that all depends on what happens to the message. They could be delayed and so on. Right? So others don't for some reason, and then there is a leader change or there's a view change. Okay. So the view has become v plus 1. And now what's going to happen is that let's say that the new leader proposes, the new leader didn't get any P certificate, maybe it didn't even hear M, right, for whatever reason. And the new leader says N V plus 1 and M dash. Right? This is what is given in the pre-prepare. And now it is possible that consensus is achieved for this M dash. You know, where, this is just a single node I. There may be enough of honest nodes here who accept M dash, maybe 2/3 or more of the network accept M dash. So we achieve consensus on N. Okay, on N M dash. So these could get linked up. This could be finalized. Okay. So just because I got a P certificate for NVM doesn't mean that things are final, that I can be sure that M is going to be sort of assigned to sequence number N. Okay, so that's a little bit looking into the future. So we are not sure. So, but what does it mean to have a P certificate? So we said earlier that if a particular node sent out a prepare, we said it is not allowed to send out a message of this kind. Okay. So what if it has got a P certificate? Does anything change over there? Okay. If node I gets a P certificate, the rules say that it should not send a prepare for any other M dash corresponding to N, even in a different view. It should not send a prepare for N, V dash and M dash. Okay, if M dash does not equal to M. Okay, so it's a little bit different to what we had committed to earlier. When I sent out a prepare, it was not allowed to send N, V, M dash. Let's just go back here. It was not allowed to send N, V, M dash, meaning in the same view, it was not allowed to send an M dash. But potentially in a future view, it could have sent an M dash. There was no prohibition about it. But now when it's heard a quorum, it's got so much more information, and it is not allowed to send something like that, even in a future view. Okay, so it cannot send out another prepare of this kind for a different message corresponding to the same N in a future view. Okay, if it's possible that other people send out such prepares and they maybe a consensus achieved just based on that. Okay, so it should not send something like this. Let me just put that here. It should not send, this is not allowed, but it can send it can send a prepare of this kind for the same N and M, but in a different view V. Okay, so effectively what we've done here is that node I has locked N for M. So that particular request has been locked for this particular N, at least for the time being. Okay, so this particular node is saying, earlier when it sent out a prepare, it says that in this particular view, when the leader is the same, I am not going to vote for any other message, any other request for this sequence number. Right? Now that it got a P certificate, it has heard other people's prepares. It says that now I am locking this sequence number n for this m, and even in a future view I will not vote for any other message corresponding to this n, right? But of course I've locked n for m, so even if the next leader or a future leader proposes this m for this n, then I will vote for it, I will support it, right? Because anyway I am all for sequence number n being mapped to request m. Okay, so P certificate means a lot. It means that a particular node has, if a node gets a P certificate, that it is locking n and m. Okay, but as we saw in the previous slide, we saw that it's possible that somebody got a P certificate here, but there was a view change and a new leader came and proposed another m dash for n. And even though this node I has kept quiet, it has not voted for this m dash, maybe there were enough votes for this particular mapping for n v plus 1 m dash, where m dash is not equal to m, and there were enough votes for consensus to be achieved on m dash. Okay, and of course if there is a consensus, then a particular node will have to accept it. Right? Of course we haven't yet reached that stage right now. But getting a P certificate is not a 100% guarantee that this particular request m will finally be accepted by all honest nodes for n. Okay. Okay. So let's move on now and let us go to phase 3. And this is the commit phase. Okay, so nodes first in phase 1, they heard, let's talk about phase 0. The client sends a request to all the nodes. Then in phase 1, the primary adds a sequence number to that particular request. Right, and of course the view hasn't changed. We said the view is still some v corresponding to that leader, and it sends that message to everybody. It said that I want to add sequence number n in my own view v to the request m. Now in phase 2, we said they're gossip, and various nodes say that I am willing to accept nv corresponding to this m, to this particular message. And when it sends out such a message, it is guaranteeing that I am not going to I'm not going to send out another prepare for another message in the same view for the same n. Okay, because that means that the leader is cheating and I am not going to side with it. Right? But now it proceeds, now they also hear what other people are saying, what other prepare messages other people are sending. And if a node finds that there is a P certificate, that means there is a quorum of nodes who have voted for n, v and m, then it is confident, it's much more confident, and it locks n and m. And it says that I will personally not send a prepare for any other m corresponding to that same n in a future view. Okay, so that is what we've looked at till now. But the problem is that I may be the only one who has got a P certificate just because of the delays in the network, and somebody else has not, or maybe everybody else has not got a P certificate for some reason. So we go to the next phase, phase 3, where we actually gossip about P certificates received. So there are various, let's say that this is 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on, the various replicas. And they gossip about P certificates that they have got. Okay, so let's say that most of the nodes have got P certificates, right? Let's say that the message delays haven't been too much, and everybody has got a P certificate, right? But each person doesn't know what the others have heard, right? So they are almost sure that N is going to be mapped to M, but they are not 100% sure. Okay? So they gossip about this in this phase 3, and now a node may get a quorum of P certificates. So if a node, that's a replica, here's 2f plus 1 or more nodes saying that they got P certificates, P certificates for a particular tuple for N, V and M, then it has what is called a C certificate. So in the phase 3, the messages which are sent out are of this particular form. So anybody with a P certificate for NVM, right, sends to others commit. So it says that this is a phase 3 message committing, and it's saying that it has essentially got a P certificate corresponding to view V and sequence number N, and it identifies itself and signs. Okay, so any particular node who gets a quorum of these has a C certificate. Okay, so let's just write this. Okay, so if you get a quorum of this form, then you know that pretty much you can be sure that N is going to be locked to M, okay, and you have a C certificate. So we might wonder why M wasn't put in here, or the digest, right? And I suppose there's no harm in putting the digest over here, that's not a problem, but in the paper they would have proved that it's not necessary to do that, because you cannot have a quorum of P certificates, that you cannot have a C certificate for NV for two different M's. You cannot have C certificate for NVM and NVM dash. That is not possible, okay, based on our assumptions. Okay, so it's not necessary to put that information in here, but just to make it simpler for ourselves, we can just say that is let's say the digest is put in there. That's not a problem. Okay. So now the claim is that if somebody has got a C certificate, he can be sure that N will be mapped to M permanently. So what does C certificate mean? Okay, so if somebody has got a C certificate, let's say that node I has got a C certificate for NV, Okay. Let's say n. So it knows that what the m is corresponding to this nv. Then the claim is then there cannot be another C certificate there cannot be another C certificate of the form let's say for this same n and a different m dash in any view. Okay, so either it cannot be, you cannot have like this, or you cannot have a C certificate of this kind. Okay, where m dash is not equal to m. Okay, so you may get some sort of, maybe it's possible to get in a different view for the same n and m. That is, I'm not completely ruling that out. But a person who has got a C certificate can be sure that there will never be another conflicting C certificate which puts another m dash, some other request corresponding to n. Okay, so here v dash is not equal to v. Okay, so this is the claim, and we'd have to think why this is the case. Okay, so essentially it's because of the commitments that we made. So if we have got a C certificate, that means there are lots of people who have got P certificates, right? And if we said if somebody has a P certificate, then he will not vote for any other M corresponding to N. He will not vote for M dash corresponding to N in any future view, right? And there are enough of these people. Okay, we have a quorum of that. That means we know that there will never be enough votes for something like this. There will never be enough prepares for this. So there cannot be enough prepare votes for n v dash m dash. Okay. Since too many have locked on to NM, right? So if you get a P certificate, it means that you lock onto this and you will not send a prepare for any other M dash even in a future view for this particular N. And there are so many of them that more than 2/3 we are saying have locked on to NM. So we can never have a C certificate for some other M dash corresponding to N even in a future view. Okay. So what we are saying here is that if somebody gets a C certificate, he can be sure that there cannot be another M dash corresponding to N. So it's as good as saying that I can lock M for this particular N permanently. And it's as good as the deal is done, that consensus has been achieved. So consensus. So if node I, let's say, has a C certificate for NV and N, then it can execute operation O in the message M, in the request M, and reply to the client. In phase 4. Okay, so this is essentially PBFT in a nutshell. Okay, and you can show that if once f+1 of course have replied to the client, then he knows that at least one honest node has replied, which means an honest node has got a C certificate. So we can be sure that no other M is going to be mapped to N even in a future view. Okay, so I mean we can think about it when you can sort of show safety that nothing can go wrong, that once you got a C certificate, an honest node has got a C certificate for a particular NVM, then it's as good as it can commit that M to N. Okay, it can finalize it. And at the same time it knows that no other M is going to be associated with N in the future. Okay, so the log might look like this. So there is a sequence number, there's a view, and there is a request, and it's 1, 2, 3 and so on, and we've reached N, and consensus has been achieved on these two. Okay, and so once a C certificate has been achieved, we are sure about this N and M, this particular mapping, right? And there may be certain cases where only one person has got a C certificate in that phase 3, because other messages are deleted or sort of delayed due to some reason. But even if a future leader comes up, right, he is not going to be able to put any other M dash over here because there will not be enough votes for another M dash over here. Okay, so what happens if a particular node, let's say one honest node has got a C certificate for NM, and then there happens to be a view change, and maybe the other nodes did not get a C certificate due to some reason. Okay, so what does PBFT do? So suppose what happens on the view change? Okay, so when a view changes, what happens is that okay, I think this line has moved down for some reason. Anyway, so essentially what the new primary does is that it collects P certificates from all other nodes. So the new primary from all nodes. And in case there was a C certificate, meaning that somebody had got a quorum of P certificates, now at this stage the primary will learn that there was a C certificate. It may be that not everybody heard all those P certificates, so only maybe one node got the C certificate, right? And maybe the primary was not one of them, right? So the primary, before it starts sending out pre-prepares and so on, it first collects P certificates from all nodes, and it learns if there was a C certificate. So first of all, let's say this, and from this it learns if there was a P certificate. if there was a quorum for P certificates, that is a C certificate existed, right? And so what does it do? So since so there was a, suppose there was a C certificate, suppose there was a C certificate for NVM, okay, but only maybe one node got it, one or two nodes, and most of the others haven't yet got a C certificate, just because those P certificate messages in the commit messages in phase 3 maybe were delayed, right? So in this particular case, the client, the new primary, it sends out a pre-prepare. So primary sends a pre-prepare for NV+1, which is the new view, right? So the view changed from V to V+1, and it puts the same message over here, okay? And this is going to ensure that everybody gets a C certificate for this particular combination, right? Okay, so anybody who has locked on to NM in a future view even, okay, somebody who has got a P certificate, for example, has locked on to NM, he can vote for this pre-prepare because he is not going to change his mind. He's sort of fixed on NM, right? And so he can vote for this pre-prepare and to ensure that this particular mapping is made. Okay, so the view number itself doesn't have any final significance for the state machine, right? Because after all, the state machine is decided by the execution of these. It doesn't matter if different people even have different view numbers here. It doesn't affect the state as long as they have the same ordering of requests over here, right? So this is what we have to ensure. And if somebody has got a C certificate for N, M, and V, we have to ensure that everybody has that, even if the view changes, right? So there are some fine details which you can find in the paper which has to be taken care of this, I mean, in this way, right? If a view changes, for example, the new primary has to ensure that everybody locks M to N. Okay, so this is PBFT. I've sort of explained the fundamentals of it, and there are many more details in the paper. It's somewhat of a complicated, difficult paper to read, I would say. But now that I've explained most of it, you can go ahead and read the paper. At least you may see some fine details maybe which I missed, and or something like that, right? Or you get a deeper understanding of the idea. Okay. So just to summarize what exactly we are doing in PBFT. So first of all, let's say this is the client and this is time, and there are various replicas. So in phase 0, the client is sending the request to all, and in phase 1, the primary, let's say this is the primary, is going to send pre-prepares, and it assigns NB to M. And now in phase 2, it's prepare phase. So they gossip about what they have heard, and they send that I am prepared to accept NVM. Okay, so at least it says for this particular NV I am not going to vote for any particular M. Okay, I am not going to vote for any other M dash for the same NV. Okay, that's what these prepares mean. And of course by the end of this, P certificates would be received. So if somebody gets a P certificate for NV and M, then essentially he locks on M, he locks M to N, and he says that I will not vote for N V dash M dash in any other way. So I will not send something like this, right? So this is, it's sort of ensuring, right? So this, at this particular stage, when it sent out the message, when it sent the pre-prepare, when it sent it out, of course it had not made that commitment. It said for the same view I will not vote for any M dash. Okay, so let's just say that prepare for NV M dash is not allowed, right, after it's sent. But after getting a P certificate, you are making a stronger commitment. And since you may not be, not everybody may have got a P certificate, we go to the commit phase in phase 3. And here they just draw it this way, right? They gossip about P certificates heard. Right, and at the end of this, somebody might have a C certificate, which is a quorum of nodes which have sent out the same P certificate, right? And in this case, you can be sure that N and M are going to be mapped to each other. Okay, we are sure about this. That even if everybody has not got, or most people have not got this C certificate, right, that no other lead primary in the future is going to allocate any other message M dash to N even in a future. Okay, so this particular node could as well execute M, the operation in M, and it can reply, okay, to the client. And this is in phase 4. Okay, so this is PBFT, a very tricky protocol, okay, conceptually very tricky, and we've discussed mainly about safety. We haven't talked about liveness, and of course the paper does talk about those aspects too. They will have timers of a certain kind, and they assume this weak synchrony and so on, in order to prove that the system is live. Right? So this, we have guaranteed safety, that if somebody has a C certificate, that nothing can go wrong, that we will never have people reaching consensus on M dash for N. Right? But whether the system is alive, that it can accept new requests and execute them, that is something we have not discussed. Okay, but it's a very tricky system, as you can understand, when nodes are malicious. Right? And this is an order of N square messages protocol, because everybody has to gossip with everybody else, right? So people thought that solving the problem was impossible in a permissionless system, because if you don't know n, then how much gossiping is going to be done, right? I mean, if you have a million people, if everybody gossips to everybody else, then that order of n square becomes just too much, right? It's just impossible to deal with. And there are problems of Sybil and so on. Somebody in a permissionless system, how do you create identities? Because a single person might create 100 identities for himself if you do it based on IP address or something like that, right? Somebody can connect to the peer-to-peer network through 100 IP addresses, in which he gets 100 identities. So people thought this doing consensus in a permissionless system is impossible. Right? But Satoshi came up with a simple proof of work where the broadcast cost is not order of n square, right? It's just the leader broadcasts it once and it goes to everybody. There's no gossiping about what I heard from whom and so on, right? And it's a very simple protocol in that you don't have to evict the leader. We haven't talked about so many things, right? Besides not talking about liveness, we haven't also talked about what to do if the leader misbehaves or a node misbehaves, right? There has to be a voting mechanism to kick out the leader and elect a new leader. Okay? And that itself is a complicated process. So all of that is very complicated, and Satoshi managed to solve it very simply using proof of work. Right? So I hope you appreciate Satoshi's work more after hearing about things like Raft and PBFT. But PBFT would be available, it's implemented in technologies like Hyperledger and so on, because people want to use it for permission blockchains. So you have just a fixed set of nodes, n nodes, who have to reach consensus, and you don't want to do something like proof of work, which requires a lot of energy. So you just have a voting system, something like PBFT or Raft, depending on your threat model, and then you're good to go. Okay, so we'll end the discussion of PBFT with this particular lecture.